well, a woman who plotted to kill her abusive mother.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who helped kill her mother.
I share my story.
What if your whole life was a lie? The numerous doctor visits, the surgeries you underwent, thinking it would save your life, not knowing they were destroying your life, even your identity is a lie. What would you do if the person you trusted the most was causing you the most harm? You might not know what you will do when you find yourself in such a situation, but today, we would know what Gypsy Rose Blanchard did when she found out her whole life was a lie. Early life in Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose. In a small town in Chack Bay, Louisiana, a girl named Claudine Pitre was born in 1967. Little did anyone know that she would later become Dee Dee Blanchard, a name tied to a story of mystery and deceit. Growing up in Golden Meadow, Dee Dee came from a large family, but beneath the appearance of a normal family, there was a hidden side to Dee Dee. Whispers circulated about her taking advantage of her family when things didn't go her way. As Dee Dee grew up and became an adult, she worked as a nurse's aide. However, suspicions about her past lingered. Some even speculated that she may have played a dark role in her own mother's death in 1997. The story took a twist when, at 24, Dee Dee entered an unconventional relationship with Rod Blanchard, a 17-year-old. Their daughter, Gypsy Rose, was born in July 1991. The relationship between Rod and Dee Dee fell apart before Gypsy Rose's birth, leading to their separation. Undeterred, Dee Dee brought her newborn daughter into her family, setting the stage for a tale that left the town buzzing with unanswered questions. The mystery deepened as Gypsy Rose grew older. At just 3 months old, Dee Dee became overly concerned about her health, seeking medical attention for supposed sleep apnea. Despite no evidence, Dee Dee insisted Gypsy Rose had a rare chromosomal disorder, leading to a series of unusual events, including participation in Special Olympics events and withdrawal from school after 2nd grade. Dee Dee's control over Gypsy Rose extended to homeschooling, with whispers of a sinister motive for keeping her isolated. Despite these challenges, Gypsy Rose taught herself to read using Harry Potter books. Amidst drama in her personal life, Dee Dee's questionable actions continued. Rumors circulated about her using weed killer in meals for her stepmom, leading to mysterious health issues. Minor offenses and bad checks added to Dee Dee's troubles. The Pitres, Gypsy's dad's new family, became suspicious of Dee Dee's treatment of Gypsy. Feeling the pressure, Dee Dee and Gypsy moved to Slidell, where their life took even stranger turns, including seeking refuge in a special needs shelter after Hurricane Katrina. Dee Dee claimed Gypsy's medical records were lost in the hurricane, and they moved to Missouri at the suggestion of a friendly doctor. The mystery surrounding Gypsy Rose's true condition continued, leaving more questions than answers. Only time would reveal the truth. The lies and deceit. After their move to Aurora, Missouri, the duo had the spotlight on them when Gypsy Rose was named Child of the Year in 2007. Life seemed perfect with a new house from Habitat for Humanity, community support, and tales of overcoming Hurricane Katrina. One could think the move was the best decision they made, as they seemed to gather the sympathy and aid of all those around them, with Dee Dee perfectly crafted lies and deceit that she told not to just the community, but to Gypsy Rose as well. Gypsy Rose, with her health challenges, became the center of a medical drama. Her mom subjected her to physical abuse, creating a false image of illness. The deception extended to various medical treatments, from Botox for saliva glands to unnecessary tooth removal. The story took a turn when a neurologist, Bernardo Flasterstein, doubted Gypsy Rose's muscular dystrophy diagnosis. Despite discovering discrepancies and suspecting Munchausen syndrome by proxy, he didn't report it after the couch, and advised by Gypsy Rose's previous doctors, he called to confirm if their diagnosis was different. In 2009, an anonymous tip led to a police check, but Dee Dee managed to deceive them, maintaining the facade that she was running away from an abusive husband. Hence, the reason she kept changing her name and addresses was so that the husband wouldn't have the necessary resources needed to track them. Dee Dee, the trickster, made a fake birth certificate for Gypsy Rose, changing her birth date to 1995 so people would think she was still a teenager. Gypsy Rose didn't know her real age for 14 years. Dee Dee even lied about the original certificate being lost during post-Katrina chaos. Gypsy Rose found the real one, but Dee Dee brushed it off as a mistake. Gypsy Rose, who had been abused and mistreated by her mother both physically and emotionally, tried to escape her mother's grip in 2011, but Dee Dee found out and threatened to call the police. She went as far as smashing Gypsy Rose's computer and handcuffed her to the bed for 2 weeks. She convinced Gypsy Rose that she filed papers claiming she was mentally incompetent to prevent her from seeking help. Her escape plan failed when Dee Dee stopped her, and Gypsy Rose, armed with a BB gun, thinking it was real, shot her mom 10 times. This was her first attempt to kill her mom, as she saw it as the only way to escape. Gypsy Rose murder plans. In 2012, Gypsy Rose met Nicholas Godejohn online. He had a troubled past with mental health issues, and both of them got talking in secret when her mom was fast asleep. In 2014, she confided in her neighbor, Alea Woodmansee, who saw her as a younger sister, not knowing that Gypsy Rose is closer to her age than she thinks. Gypsy Rose told her about her plans to elope with Godejohn. Alea tried dissuading her from carrying out her plan, thinking she was just a child, and Godejohn was trying to take advantage of her, but Gypsy Rose was determined to go ahead, and despite her concerns, Woodmansee stayed connected with Gypsy Rose until 2014. Gypsy Rose and Godejohn planned a chance meeting with Dee Dee at the movies. With both of them wearing costumes, here she planned for Godejohn to bump into Dee Dee, so both of them could become familiar, in the hope that her mom would let her meet with Godejohn if she believed she knew him. When they met in person in March 2015 at a Cinderella show, which was the agreed location for Godejohn to bump into Dee Dee. However, upon meeting, Godejohn claimed Gypsy Rose dragged him to a disabled toilet so they could have sex, which he claimed happened, but Gypsy Rose denied it. This meeting did not deter them as they continued their online plans to eliminate Dee Dee. In June 2015 in Springfield, Godejohn returns and sneaks into the Blanchard house when Gypsy Rose and her mom are out. Gypsy Rose, having met with him, gives him duct tape, gloves, and a knife to attack her mom. While Dee Dee is sleeping, Gypsy Rose, who knew what was about to happen, hid in the bathroom to try and block out the horror of the night. Godejohn takes the things handed to him by Gypsy Rose and proceeds to stab her mum 17 times in the back as she lay on the bed sleeping. After the murder, Gypsy Rose and Godejohn take $4,000 in cash they found in the house, which was the checks from foundations Dee Dee had cashed out, and escape to a motel outside Springfield. To mislead the authorities and all those who would be searching for them, they send the murder weapon to Godejohn's home in Wisconsin and take a bus there, with Gypsy Rose wearing a blonde wig as a disguise to escape. Arrest and investigations. The Blanchards' friends got concerned and decided to check on them when calls went unanswered. Despite the Blanchards often going on medical trips without notice, this time was different. Dee Dee's custom car was in the driveway, questioning the medical trip idea. But getting a look inside was tough. Windows had heavy protective film, making it hard to see in the low light. Knocking on the door failed, so they called 911. While waiting for a search warrant, a neighbor climbed through a window and was surprised. The house seemed undisturbed, and Gypsy Rose's wheelchairs were still there. When the warrant finally came, the police found Dee Dee's lifeless body on the bed in a pool of blood. A GoFundMe was started for the funeral and Gypsy Rose's expenses, even though they had no clue what had happened to her. Some suspected she was abducted and feared the worst, thinking that even if Gypsy Rose was okay, life without her wheelchair, meds, oxygen tanks, and feeding tube would be tough, as they all believed she was truly disabled and needed all that to survive. Woodmansee spoke to the cops about Gypsy Rose's secret romance, which she suspected had a hand in the death of Dee Dee and the disappearance of Gypsy Rose. The police used the Facebook account they found to trace Godejohn back to Wisconsin and made plans to head there and arrest him. The next day, cops stormed Godejohn's home and were surprised to see Gypsy Rose there looking healthy, and more shocking was the fact that she was walking on her own. Both of them surrendered and were arrested to face murder charges for the death of Dee Dee. The good news was Gypsy Rose was found safe and sound, but Sheriff Arnott warned appearances can be deceiving and advised to proceed with caution. The media found out the truth and made it public knowledge that Gypsy Rose wasn't sick, and her mom, whom they all sympathized with, was controlling her with abuse and subjecting her to different medical tortures and emotional abuse. Arnott advised against donations that were ongoing until they understood the full scam. The trial. The trial of Gypsy Rose was a rather short one, as most understood what compelled her to commit such a crime. People felt sorry for Gypsy at first, but then they saw her as a victim of long-term child abuse. In Missouri, the law allows the death penalty for first-degree murder, but the prosecutor decided not to seek it for Gypsy Rose. Instead, she agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder and got a 10-year prison sentence. Godejohn faced a more serious charge because they said he planned the murder. Gypsy Rose didn't have to testify against him. Godejohn's trial got delayed, and his lawyers argued he had a low IQ and was on the autism spectrum, which could affect his responsibility. In the end, he went to trial in November 2018. Prosecutors said he planned the murder for over a year, but his lawyers blamed Gypsy Rose, saying she came up with the idea. During the trial, they showed text messages between Gypsy and Godejohn. Some were sexual. Godejohn admitted to the police that he killed Dee Dee. Gypsy testified that she suggested the murder to end her mom's abuse, but she also thought about getting pregnant to make her mom accept Godejohn. They sent the case to the jury, who found Godejohn guilty of first-degree murder. In February 2019, he got a life sentence for murder with no possibility of parole. Godejohn asked for leniency, saying he was blindly in love with Gypsy. The judge denied his request and also rejected a motion for a new trial. On June 27, 2022, Gypsy got married to Ryan Scott Anderson, whom she believes is totally in love with her, and they hope to have a happy home together. On September 29, 2023, she got parole approval from the Missouri Department of Corrections after serving 8 years. By December 28, 2023, she was released after serving 85% of her sentence. Today, Gypsy Rose has told her story and proved she has come a long way from the timid, sick girl she once was to a successful adult living a fulfilled life.